Section 1.6 Vikings descend. The arrival of the Vikings in the British Isles in the 8th century marked a pivotal moment in British history. These fearsome Scandinavian warriors, with their distinctive longboats and horned helmets, left an indelible mark on the land and its people, influencing everything from language and culture to politics and religion. The first Viking raids on the British Isles began in the late 780s. These raids were typically small-scale, with the Vikings targeting coastal monasteries and villages. The attacks were brutal and speedy, as the Vikings would strike unexpectedly, loot villages, and capture slaves and riches before retreating back to sea. One of the most notorious Viking raids on the British Isles was the attack on the monastery at Lindisfarne in 793 AD. This raid marked the beginning of the Viking Age in Britain and struck fear into the hearts of the Anglo-Saxon monks who witnessed the violence and destruction brought by the Norse invaders. The large Viking force known as the Great Heathen Army landed in England in the 860s. This army, numbering in the thousands, was far more formidable than any previous Viking force. They marched through England, conquering and pillaging towns and cities. Once they captured York, they made it the base of their operations. As the Viking raids continued throughout the 9th and 10th centuries, many Vikings began to establish settlements on the British Isles. These settlements, known as the Danelaw in the north and east of England, were governed by Viking law and customs, separate from the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in the south. Towns like York and Dublin became thriving centres of Viking trade and culture, blending Norse and Anglo-Saxon traditions. The Viking influence on the British Isles was profound. They introduced new farming techniques, shipbuilding technologies, and artistic styles. They also had a significant impact on the English language, with many words of Scandinavian origin still in use today. The Viking settlements also had a lasting impact on the political landscape of Britain, leading to the emergence of new kingdoms and alliances. In some cases, Viking warlords established themselves as rulers of regions, such as King Sweyn Forkbeard of Denmark, who briefly ruled over England in the early 11th century. One of the most enduring legacies of the Viking raids and settlements on the British Isles is the linguistic influence they had on the English language. You wouldn't imagine that words such as sky, egg, or window are of Norse origin, would you? Well, they are, as are words like anger, bag, cake, dirt, gift, and husband, and many, many more. The Viking invasion and settlement in Britain, with epic battles, fierce warrior figures, and suspenseful political intrigue, has been a popular theme in various TV series and movies throughout the years. From Michael Hirst's Vikings series to The Last Kingdom, based on Bernard Cornwell's series of historical novels, and from Kirk Douglas and Tony Curtis's 1958 film, The Vikings, to the 2014 film Northmen, a Viking saga. Fiction acquaints modern audiences with the Viking legacy with more or less historical accuracy. The arrival of the Vikings was a transformative event, leading to political upheaval, as well as cultural and linguistic influences. The Viking presence in Britain challenged the existing power dynamics, leading to a period of intense conflict, but also eventual assimilation and fusion of cultures. The Vikings may have arrived in Britain as invaders, but they left a lasting legacy that continues to enrich and inform our understanding of the nation's rich and diverse past.